Hello, I'm Rebecca Easton, author of Homombrosis, Episode 1, Spirit of the Museum, creator of the blog MyDyslexicWorld.com, and some of you may even know me as Ray the Ravra from Ravra and Reaper on Twitch TV. I'm making this video because I feel like I have wasted a lot of this year being a mopey and miserable person, and I couldn't end it on that note. If you've followed my blog or my fan page, you know that I haven't done anything with them since I graduated with my master's degree, and there is a reason for that. So before I get fully into why I've been very absent this year, I'm placing a warning here. This is going to get very personal and cheesy, and if you follow me, you know that's exactly what I do. So this is your warning. Continue at your own risk. But truly, I do hope you stay. I talk about dyslexia a lot and how it's affected my life, and it's something I struggle with day in and day out. Even when I was writing the script for this video, the amount of grammatical mistakes would have made grammar enthusiasts cry. I'm used to looking for ways to deal with my dyslexia. Overall, it's just something I deal with, and I apply that same just deal with it approach to my depression. If you follow my blog, you know that I have been struggling with depression for many years, probably longer than I should have. Some people will tell you that depression has triggers, and if you recognize those triggers, you can avoid depression episodes. And that's kind of true. Others will tell you that depression just pops up with no real reason and turns you into a bubbling mess. That's pretty true too. I have triggers for some of my depression episodes, and then I just get depressed for no reason. That's what I call normal depression, and I'll explain why. That depression hangs around for months on end, a stormy rain cloud washing away all the joy. But then for 1 to 2 weeks out of every month, that rain cloud would become a raging typhoon. For years, I couldn't figure out why things would take a huge dive into the scary realms of suicidal thoughts, mood swings so quick they made my head spin, anger at nothing, feeling overwhelmed or completely lost. Then I would get my period, and everything snapped right back to normal. I thought I was PMSing. It seemed to make sense. I had all the symptoms that you would find, but it didn't explain the worsening of my depression to the point that death seemed like a better option to being devoid of any good emotion. It didn't explain how all of that would just go away the moment Aunt Flo paid her visit. At the end of last year, I was having one of my normal depression episodes because I was struggling with writing one of my triggers. When all of a sudden, I lost complete motivation. It was unlike anything I had experienced the years before. And there was an empty spot in my brain, like right here, where nothing happy reached. It got worse and worse and worse as the days dragged on. Then my period would hit and I could smile again. But it was less brighter. Next month, I couldn't write anything at all. I had to take a break from school because of it. I hit so hard. I was hit so hard with depression. There were a couple times I did some stupid things. I fought with close friends about nothing other than I was angry. The void happened again. Period. Normal depression. Somehow I completed my master's degree and got hopeful, made a blog post about how happy I was to be moving forward in a new phase. Then the void hit again. By that time, I was feeling completely out of control. I felt overwhelmed, angry, and at work, I was irritable to the point that anything could set me off. I lost complete motivation in everything. My health took a dive. I was losing it with normal depression, and those 2 weeks before my period became so agonizing, I was just ready to quit. I had been dealing with this spiral for so long, I can't really tell you what made me seek help. I can tell you it wasn't my friends and family, because I thought I was making them miserable too, and that my death would somehow free them. There were times when I would go out to a friend's party or to a social event for a game developers drink up, and I would put on an act. I would smile, I would laugh when the cues were there, because I knew that's what I should do in those situations, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel the joy. I didn't feel the hilarity of the joke. There were times when I avoided everyone. I would lock myself away in my apartment for days on end. I sometimes wouldn't leave for months. And things got scary. They got really scary. And I couldn't go to anybody because I felt so ashamed to be having so many dark thoughts. And when I told some people that I was having these things, they were like, "Ray, you don't have anything to be sad about." And that made me feel guilty. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody anymore. And when I tried, I got close to writing the letter and taking a bottle of pills or pulling a knife out of a drawer or contemplating how strong I needed a piece of clothing to be to make a noose. And I understood why people jumped, because when you jump, you can't turn back. My friends and family, I didn't feel like I could turn to them. It's nothing against them. They're very supportive, and they always have been, they always will be, and I know that. So I went to the doctor because I knew that if this was PMS, it could be handled with birth control. Fun fact, according to the last article I read, it is estimated that at least 85% of women have PMS. And then there are a 2 to 10% of women that suffer from PMS, lesser known cousin, PMDD. When I went to my doctor and I told her what was happening to me, I told her that I knew that I had depression and that I thought PMS was enhancing those symptoms. She looked at me. She said, "No, sweetheart. You're a classic case for premenstrual dipheric disorder, or PMDD. PMS on steroids." I thought, great! Another thing I needed. As if dyslexia wasn't enough of a bastard to be handling, and now I had this other fucking demon running into my life and fucking shit up. Fabulous! The symptoms are severe enough to make work terrible, to interfere with social activities and relationships. And it did explain. I mean, I fought with friends over nothing. I hated everything that was going on at work, even when there wasn't anything going wrong at work. I couldn't be around anybody for long periods of time. Going to parties was agonizing. To be diagnosed, you have to have 5 of the 11 symptoms. And oddly enough, those PMDD symptoms sometimes matches up with regular clinical depression. I have just about all of the symptoms. Just about, and they're not the same symptoms every single time. I may be moody. I could be super happy one moment, like a couple weeks ago on a Monday. I was riding high. I was so happy. I was talking to my mom about all the things I was excited about, how I was excited about doing this video. And then Tuesday, I had an episode. I had my PMDD episode, and I started feeling helpless. I thought nothing was going right again, that the stream was failing. I was thinking terrible thoughts about friends, and the friends who had done nothing to warrant any kind of terrible thoughts. At work, I got irritable. I again lost interest. I had meant to do this video a couple weeks ago, but I just couldn't drag up any motivation. I was feeling tired. Some days I wanted to eat everything in sight, and the others I didn't want to eat anything at all. And of course, I was feeling out of control. A couple weeks ago, by that Thursday, Tuesday it started, Thursday, I was ready to hop in my car and find the nearest overpass. And that was scary. That was really scary. And I wanted to reach out to friends, but I already heard them saying, "Ray, you don't have anything to be upset about. Your life is going well. You have a master's degree. You have a roof over your head. You have a job that's paying for your food." And then I started feeling guilty because I shouldn't be having these thoughts. That I was in some way letting not just myself down, but my family down. And then Friday happened, and I got my period. And those 3 days of absolute misery were gone. I felt light. And I was just angry because there it was again, PMDD, putting me through hell. And I realized that not a lot of people knew about PMDD. We all know about depression. It's becoming a bigger and bigger topic every day. Mental illnesses are being pulled into the light because everybody wants to find ways of making life better for their significant others or for their friends because they don't want to see them wallowing away. But for me, it's hard for me to go and ask for help. I think in a video that I watched recently, they talked about how it could take 10 years for people with depression to actually go and get help. That's a crazy long time to be dealing with something for that long. I am. So I did do my research when I learned that I had PMDD, and I learned that there were yes, antidepressants, they treat them with antidepressants and birth control, but that's not 100%. That's not going to fix everything. So I treated PMDD the same way I do my dyslexia. I'm figuring out ways to make life easier with it. I'm looking for tricks. And for the most part, I found some of them. I started eating better. I eliminated a lot of junk food from my diet and dropped my sugar intake. I hardly ever have soda in my apartment. I mostly have fruits. I started trying to be more active and spend time away from my apartment. And even when I'm in one of my depression episodes or I'm in my PMDD episodes and I can't be around people because of just sudden sudden irritation, I still try to go out, maybe to a coffee shop or to a movie, so that I'm not still in my apartment just sitting in festering hatred and being miserable for no reason. I've put myself on a sleep schedule, and this was really important. One of the things that I definitely struggle with is sleeping well. And for the most part now I get between 4 to 6 hours of sleep, which have helped a lot. I've found increased energy, increase in like good moods. I've looked for ways to reduce my stress, and in order to do that, I had to figure out what some of my stressors were. Money, at one time it was school, which that's over with, so yeah. Sometimes social events will be a stress for me because I worry about whether or not I'm actually going to enjoy myself, or if somebody's going to see through my facade. I've come to grips with my sexuality. That was something that I struggled with for a long time. I wasn't sure why I felt some of the attractions I did to some of my female friends the way I did. And it all made sense. So I've only recently come out to some people, and this will be the first time a lot of people will have heard about it. I started doing video journals because there are times when, even when I do go to my friends or my parents and I talk to them about the issues that I'm having or things that I'm facing, I don't want to hear them say, but there's nothing for you to be sad about. So I'll do the video journals where I can speak freely and I can just let off whatever I have on my chest, and I can even let loose all of the nasty thoughts I have about people when my PMDD episode happens. So it's helped a lot. They have helped me so much. And then I searched for some form of success, such as the Twitch streaming. And this was largely due in part because I felt like I had failed as a writer, as an author. I hardly tell anybody, until recently, I hardly told anybody that I had published a novella. I didn't mention anything about my writing to anybody. In fact, I dreaded when people asked me, what have you been working on? Because the answer was always nothing. So the Twitch streaming has really helped, and starting Rama and Reaper has given me the confidence to do this video, has restored my motivation to do a lot of the projects that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I'm so happy that Autumn, who's Reaper, has been such a huge support, and even though she has her own struggles, she tries to do her best with the streaming too, and that's just the greatest. The best part about these steps have been that they also helped me with my normal depression, which is wonderful. And I know you're hearing children screaming, but this has been such a great take. I really don't want to change anything. I spent a lot more time out of bed doing things that I want to do, learning sound editing, learning video editing, and probably not going to happen on this video because I'm still learning. Apparently English too. So I wanted to share this with you all. It felt important that I actually talked about this struggle, and that I needed to bring light to PMDD. I didn't know it existed, and I'm pretty sure a lot of women don't know either. And this is something that is not easily discovered. It's so easy to just write it off as being sad or a mood swing or just another depression. But it's more than that. It really is. I mean, let's face it, depression or any mental illness sucks. And when you have something that just heightens it, life becomes hell. I'm getting better. I made the decision to get better. Nobody dragged me to a hospital or could force me to get help. I'm a proud person and I hate showing weakness, so it's hard for me to be open with everybody, this open with everybody. But as hard as it is, I know there are many out there that are struggling to keep their heads above the darkness that threatens to consume us. So here is where I get cheesy, as if I haven't been already, but I want to speak to the people who are struggling with anything, mental illness, health issues. You stepped in gum with your favorite shoes. We are stronger than we seem. We won the day just by getting out of bed and putting on a shirt. But more than anything, this moment of sadness, of emptiness, of displeasure, no matter how long it seems to stretch on, it really is only temporary. I tell myself every day, there are 1,001 ways to die. The challenge is to find that many ways to live. I've accepted that challenge. And I really hope others will too. Next year, I aim to be a better person. I'm not going to be miserable again. Well, no, let's be honest. I'm going to have my PMDD episodes, but I'm not going to end it on the note that I feel like I'm ending it this year. So I really hope everyone will stick around and bear with me just a little bit longer while I try to get myself together just a bit more. Or maybe, who knows, I will be in a better apartment with sound foam, so I won't have to hear my neighbors and screaming children across the street. So yeah, thank you for watching. And I hope you're as excited for me for the next chapter as I am. Laters.